Hello, my name is Jonathan Parent. I'm Associate Professor of Political Science at Lemoyne College, and I'm here with my co-author, Sommer, Associate Professor of Political Science at Tel Aviv University, and our third co-author is Chuan Li. Our paper is titled Opportunistic Legislation Under a Natural Emergency, Grabbing Government Power in a Democracy During COVID-19, and it's published in Regulation and Governance. Events unfolding in Texas at the outbreak of the COVID-19 pandemic demonstrate a confluence of political variables in the context of the pandemic and reproductive rights. In this political state of emergency, several players were involved in what we identify as opportunistic political behavior, potentially amounting to a power grab. Executive Order GA-09, issued by the governor, postponed for a month all non-essential medical procedures. GA-09 was interpreted by the Texas Attorney General to apply to all non-urgent abortions. Using an emergency rule, this was readily implemented by the Texas Medical Board. In response to a suit filed by civil society organizations, including the Lawyering Project, Center for Reproductive Rights, and Planned Parenthood, a federal court in Texas granted a temporary restraining order due to irreparable harm related to delayed terminations and due to unconstitutionally putting an undue burden on a woman seeking to abort. Ultimately, under precedents in Jacobson v. Massachusetts, the actions by the state of Texas did not amount to arbitrary and oppressive regulations, and the abortion ban was allowed to continue until the governor's order expired on April 22nd, 2022. This case offers one example of how power grabs can operate in a democratic system. In the minds of students of politics, power grabs are commonly associated with non-democracies, and in their extreme, they may take the form of a political coup. However, just as democracy and authoritarianism can be understood as a continuum with many possible midpoints between these extremes, we define policy grabs as efforts to secure desired political policy ends that result from unexpected political, social, or in this case, medical developments. In this sense, policy grabs may be understood as smaller scale power grabs. Unlike the military coup example discussed above, actors in this scenario are not attempting to seize the levers of power through extra-legal means, but rather achieve an already stated policy goal through the exploitation of a crisis or other unpredicted events. Specifically, our paper considers the implementation of executive orders by American state governors during the COVID-19 pandemic that sought to limit access to reproductive services during the crisis. Our paper demonstrates the following hypotheses, which is that the percent voting for Trump in 2016 in the state was positively correlated with the likelihood of opportunistic legislation leading to abortion restrictions. Partisanship of the governor and partisan control of state legislature were correlated with the likelihood of opportunistic legislation leading to abortion restrictions during COVID-19, with Republican control increasing that likelihood. And levels of religiosity positively correlating with the likelihood of opportunistic legislation leading to abortion restrictions during COVID-19. Beyond this, we also find that higher levels of COVID infection in a state were positively related to the likelihood of that state's governor issuing an abortion ban.
The success of efforts to take advantage of a natural emergency to achieve long-standing political goals is dependent on effective solutions to coordination and cooperation problems during the period of pandemic politics at the outbreak of COVID-19. Efforts in different parts of the country, and in particular in a federal system, are more likely to succeed if resources are joined, best practices are shared, and information is relayed to relevant players. We argue that the institutional infrastructure of interest groups is particularly conducive to such changes. Furthermore, unlike government agencies, which may be slower to react, those groups are perfectly positioned and structured to be light on their feet and act quickly when the opportunity presents itself. Accordingly, we delve into the actions of civil society related to abortion regulations at the outbreak of the pandemic, finding that these groups seem to have had a considerable influence on pushing government officials to enact abortion bans. The importance of this analysis, however, is limited neither to the natural disaster of COVID-19 nor to the specific issue area of abortion. Rather, we argue that the insights from our framework are important for future crises, whether they are future waves of variants of COVID-19 or other natural disasters, such as global warming. Furthermore, the areas of politics that may be affected are far beyond the politics of reproductive rights. How governments conduct themselves and their legislative and regulatory frameworks has been studied in the context of the pandemic, and we offer an important angle that has not been developed, and which has major implications for the future of democracy in an era where emergencies may grow more and more frequent. We hope you enjoyed the paper published in Regulation and Government, and thanks for watching.